I've identified the top 7 problems B2B brands have when doing marketing. And one of the first, lead quality, lead qualification. First, unqualified leads, they're clogging up the CRM. Second, paid leads are not matching the ideal customer profile. High volume, low booking, they're not booking. I have a ton of them, but they're not booking a call. And last, the calls that are booked are by uneducated prospects. They don't even know who I am. Okay, those are the problems, but how do you solve it? Okay, so this first one, quite simple, but really the devil's in the details. So when you're dealing with this problem, you're probably educating your pixel wrong. You're educating your targeting wrong. The algorithms are confused because you're accepting unqualified leads. And what does that bring you more of? More unqualified leads. So you have to be restrictive. Think of this as you get what you settle for. So you can't settle for less than the best. Step 1. You're going to go all the way back to your form, right? You're going to look at your landing page form, your opt-in form, and you're going to make some critical adjustments. Yes, you're desperate for leads. Yes, you're desperate for business. That doesn't mean you change your qualifications. Now, it does mean you don't have a million questions. Try to focus on one question in your form. Revenue, domain, is there a license? Like, what is that one qualifying question that would actually make a big difference? Okay, get rid of all the other stuff. You want name, you want email, qualifying question. That's it. Every form fill you have reduces the percentage of people that will actually submit it. Second, and this is really, really drastically important. If they don't qualify, they either A, don't go to the submission page, firing the pixels, the algorithms, or B, they're not allowed to submit the form. The easiest thing is just make the qualifiers, you have to be qualified to submit the form. That will immediately stop the problem. Then we'll go into problem 2. Problem 2 is a result of problem 1. Now, again, this is done in a huge summary of surveys and feedback, but typically problem 2 has to do with the low qualifier. If you've been sending, let's say, hundreds of leads, thousands of dollars to spend, they're never going to match that ideal ICP. But you don't just wave the white flag and you're done. You have to address it. So this goes all the way back to good data. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to dial back all the spend that's sending unqualified leads, right? If you haven't fixed the form, this isn't really going to help. Make sure your form is fixed first, the qualifiers are correct. Then you're going to dial back what is sending the unqualified leads. This goes into some little nerd thing called UTMs, right? If you go look at the leads that are qualified, where did they come from, right? What campaigns? Was it Google? Was it Meta? Was it LinkedIn? Was it cold outreach? Was it direct outreach? What was it, right? That little identifier in your CRM. Look at that. Then you're going to go to that good data. This is usually an export. So export a huge list of the good leads. They don't have to have signed up for your business, but they're qualified, right? Maybe they didn't sign, they're qualified. You're going to take that, get 1,000 of them. That then is going to be your source of truth. You're not really targeting anything except for the lookalikes of those, or broad, right? You don't want to go back to what you've been doing if none of them have matched. You're going to run both of those, the lookalikes of the 1,000 leads that were qualified, and you're going to go ahead and run probably to broad to that qualifying form. 2 things are going to happen. The algorithm's going to begin to realize, oh, wait a minute, I've been sending you the wrong people. Your what is the word? CPL is going to jump. It's going to go way up because now the algorithm's like, wait, I thought I was sending you something good. I thought I was what you wanted. Wrong. You're telling it, you're not settling it for it. You're not settling for it anymore. Then you're going to let those leads essentially qualify and through, and the algorithm's going to learn. This is a painful process, but it's necessary. It's the only way to get your ICP to match the actual people submitting your form. Okay, 3. High volume, low booking. This is another area of what we call qualification. So there's 2 parts to this process. One, you're always going to have 60% of your leads not going to book a call. It's going to happen. They're going to submit some information. They're going to go, I'm nervous. I don't want to talk to a sales guy. And they're going to stop. One, you need to have, and we'll cover this as well next, a nurture process. Someone that says, hey, I'm not going to bite you. I'm not even a sales guy. I just want to see if you're a good fit, right? You need to have that nurture process. SMS, voicemail, all the things, email, done. That's going to help with the 60%, but the 40% that could book, the biggest reason why they don't book is availability. I'll go on and it'll be the best business in the world, and they don't have any availability to book a call, except at 2 a.m. on a random Tuesday, right? The next 2 days must have 3 to 4 options. Don't give them 7 options. Don't give them 2 weeks out to book. The next 2 to 3 days, that's it. That will help solve 20 to 30% of the 40% that will book. The others, it's typically duplicate opt-in information, right? So if they qualified, do not make them resubmit the information again. I see that time and time again. They're qualified, they submit the form, then they go from one form on one page to now a Calendly page, and they're asked all the exact same information again. Don't do that, right? One form. You can make Calendly have the qualifiers, right? You can have one form, just have your booking. But you don't want to duplicate information. So if they enter 3 form fields, now they got to enter 3 more. Biggest reason why people stop. And the last is this: calls booked by uneducated process. This goes back to what I said earlier about nurture, right? Just because they've opted in does not mean the ads turn off. It does not mean the nurture turns off. It just means the type of ad they're getting is different, right? So in the beginning, they're going to be getting, you got to opt in. Here's my service. Here's our offer. Here's how we're better than the rest, right? Here's our reviews, blah. Then once they've opted in, as soon as that happens, you have a custom audience, right? Those who have opted in, boom. Now they're going to get PPE ads. I love PPE ads because it's just exposing them. And all they're doing is you're educating them in the service. You didn't stop. You're surrounding them with what to expect. Then you're also pushing business, again, if you're staying in a vertical of your B2B business, how you've solved their problem before with testimonials of other businesses. That's how you get people to actually, one, show up, because a lot of people won't show up. They'll ghost you because they're like, I don't remember who this brand is. I've done it. I book a call. I did it with another brand earlier. I haven't heard anything from them, but my call's supposed to be in 20 minutes, right? I don't even remember why I booked the call. And I'm going to get on that call not educated because they're not nurturing. So nurture, nurture, nurture. All right, so this is the number 1 of the 9 primary problems. I'm not saying it's the biggest problem, but this is number 1 of the 9 biggest problems B2B brands have when marketing. Take it, apply it, try this in your business. Go make some sales.